brought to you by Soundlibra.com. You can find a direct link to our full library in the description of this audio, or visit us anytime at Soundlibra.com. Thought. Welcome to Mindful in Minutes, your guide to calm.
That's right, Alex. And I'm Lisa. Just a quick heads up before we start. The techniques we're discussing are for educational purposes and aren't a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice. Always consult with a qualified professional regarding any health concerns.
Exactly. Now, when I first heard about mindfulness, I pictured hours of sitting cross-legged and being bored. I was a hard sell.
Me too. And that's exactly why we created this podcast. We're calling it Mindful in Minutes because the idea is to make mindfulness accessible, practical, and for real life. Forget the stereotypes. What if mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind, but about better understanding it?
Better understanding, you say? That sounds a little less intimidating. So, Alex, for the total skeptic, what is mindfulness in simple terms?
At its heart, mindfulness is simply paying attention. It's about deliberately bringing your awareness to what's happening right now, without judgment. Think of it as noticing the present moment, whatever that moment holds.
Paying attention. Okay, but our minds are always busy. They're constantly jumping from one thought to another. How can you possibly just pay attention to one thing?
We're not aiming for perfection. We're not trying to stop our thoughts entirely. That's like trying to stop waves in the ocean, impossible and exhausting. Instead, mindfulness is about noticing when your mind wanders and gently, without beating yourself up, bringing your attention back. It's like training a puppy. The puppy will wander. You just gently guide it back.
A puppy. I like that analogy. So it's not about achieving a state of total blankness, but about becoming aware of our mental habits. And this happens in real time, in the middle of everything.
Exactly. That's the in minutes part. We're talking about finding small pockets of awareness throughout your day. It could be during your morning coffee, while you're walking to your car, or even in a frustrating meeting. It's about noticing and then choosing how to respond, rather than just reacting on autopilot.
Autopilot. I think we all live on autopilot a lot of the time. We're driving somewhere and not remembering the journey. It's like we're disconnected from what's actually happening.
You've hit on a key point, Lisa. So much of our lives are spent on this mental autopilot. We're planning our next sentence while someone else is talking, or reliving an argument from yesterday while we're trying to enjoy dinner. Mindfulness is the antidote to that. It's about waking ourselves up to our own experience. It's about being present.
Present. So if I'm mindfully washing dishes, what does that actually look and feel like? Am I supposed to be in ecstasy over the suds?
Not necessarily ecstasy. It might simply mean noticing the sensation of the warm water on your hands, the feel of the sponge, the smell of the soap. You notice your mind starting to think about what you need to do next, and then you gently bring your attention back to the sensation of washing a plate. It's a subtle shift, but it grounds you in the here and now.
So it's about engaging your senses, connecting with the physical reality of what you're doing.
Yes, engaging your senses is a major part of it, but it's also about observing your thoughts and feelings without getting swept away by them. Imagine you're sitting by a river, and your thoughts are like leaves floating downstream. Mindfulness is being able to watch those leaves go by, acknowledging them, but not feeling the need to jump into the river and chase after every single one.
Watching the leaves, that's a nice image. So, to recap for our listeners, mindfulness isn't about stopping your thoughts or achieving enlightenment on a mountaintop. It's about intentionally paying attention to the present moment, noticing when your mind wanders, and gently bringing it back again and again. It's about being present and engaging our senses and awareness in everyday activities.
Precisely. And the beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require special equipment, elaborate rituals, or hours of free time. We can cultivate this awareness in the small, often overlooked moments of our busy lives. Over the next few episodes, we'll explore specific techniques to help you do just that, from mindful breathing to mindful movement, and navigating the digital world with more presence.
I'm already feeling a little less skeptical, Alex. It sounds like mindfulness can truly be integrated into the fabric of our daily lives, 1 minute at a time.
That's the goal. This is just the beginning of our exploration into practical mindfulness. We'll build a toolkit together, step by step, that even the busiest, most skeptical among us can use.
Fascinating. So, what's next on our mindfulness journey, Alex?
Next time, Lisa, we're going to move beyond the cushion and explore how to bring mindfulness into action, even when we're on the go. No sitting still required.
Mindfulness on the move. I can definitely relate to that.
Excellent. So join us next time for Beyond the Cushion, Mindfulness on the Move.
Welcome back. Last time we covered the basics of mindfulness. Now let's tackle mindfulness on the move.
That's right, Alex. Because let's be honest, carving out dedicated time to sit still can feel like another thing on an already overflowing to-do list. So, how do we move from the cushion to, well, everywhere else?
Exactly. This episode is called Beyond the Cushion, Mindfulness on the Move. We're going to explore how to weave mindfulness into the fabric of your daily life, starting with something many of us do every single day, or at least several times a week, commuting. Think about it. Lisa, how much time do you spend traveling to and from work, or to appointments, or even just running errands?
Oh, it's significant. Honestly, before I started practicing mindfulness, my commute was usually a black hole of stress, podcasts I barely registered, or just replaying conversations from the day. It was almost like my brain just shut off, but in a really anxious way.
That's a perfect description for many people. That mental autopilot can be a major source of unmanaged stress. But what if we could transform that travel time? What if your commute could become an opportunity to practice mindfulness, to find a little calm and focus, instead of just enduring it? This is the core of what we call mindful commuting.
Mindful commuting. I like the sound of that. It suggests it's not about adding more to your commute, but about changing how you experience it. So, what does that actually look like in practice? If I'm on a crowded train or stuck in traffic, how do I find calm?
Great question. The first step, just like with any mindfulness practice, is to engage your senses. When you're commuting, there's so many things to notice, things we usually tune out. Let's start with what you can see. Instead of staring blankly ahead or at your phone, consciously look around. What colors do you see? What shapes? Notice the architecture of buildings if you're walking or driving, the patterns of clouds if you're looking up, or even the subtle shifts in light.
So, it's like being a tourist in your own daily journey?
Precisely. You're returning to being an observer. And it's not about judging what you see. It's not that building is ugly or that cloud looks ominous. It's simply noticing. There's a red car. There's a tall building with many windows. The sky is a pale blue. Really simple, objective observations.
Okay, I can see how that might help shift my focus away from internal worries. What about other senses?
Excellent. Next, let's consider sound. Commutes are full of sounds, right? The rumble of the train, the chatter of people, the hum of traffic, the whoosh of other cars. Instead of letting these sounds be annoying background noise, try to just listen to them. Can you distinguish different sounds? Can you notice the rhythm of the train on the tracks? Or the pauses between car horns?
This is interesting. Usually, I try to block out those sounds with headphones. But you're suggesting we intentionally tune into them?
Yes, but with a different intention. The goal isn't to analyze or judge the sounds, but to simply acknowledge their presence. You might notice the distant siren, the rustle of leaves, or the distinct tone of a car engine. It's about immersing yourself in a gentle way in the soundscape of your journey.
It's like opening up all the sensory channels that you normally keep on low volume because you're preoccupied.
Exactly. And this naturally leads us to the physical sensations. What do you feel in your body? If you're sitting, notice the contact of your body with the seat. Feel the pressure, the texture. If you're standing, notice your feet on the floor, the way your weight is distributed. Feel the air on your skin. Is it cool, warm, breezy?
I never really think about those things. I'm usually just trying to maintain my balance or bracing myself for a sudden stop.
And that's the key difference. Instead of bracing, you're softening. You're allowing yourself to feel the physical reality of your journey. Notice the subtle movements of your body as the vehicle moves. Can you feel your shoulders relax a little? Can you notice your breathing?
Ah, the breath. That's your go-to anchor, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and it's incredibly useful when you're on the move. Your breath is always with you. So, even as you're noticing sights, sounds, and physical sensations, you can always bring your attention back to the simple rhythm of your inhale and exhale. You don't need to change your breathing, just notice it. Feel the air entering your nose or mouth, the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen.
So, to summarize, we're turning our commute into a sensory exploration. We look, we listen, we feel our bodies, and we notice our breath. This is mindful commuting.
That's a beautiful summary, Lisa. And the real beauty of this is that it doesn't require extra time. You're already commuting. You're already on the bus, on the train, or in your car. This is about transforming that existing time.
It feels much more manageable than having to schedule in a 20-minute meditation session. It's like finding mindfulness in the margins of your day.
Precisely. And it's also a fantastic way to prepare for your day. Instead of arriving at work already stressed, you can arrive with a sense of calm and presence. Or if you're commuting home, it helps you transition out of work mode and into your personal time more gently. You're not rushing home with your mind still buzzing with work thoughts.
It's like hitting a reset button mid-journey. So, this practice of using our senses, seeing, hearing, feeling our bodies, and noticing our breath, can be done anywhere, not just on a commute.
Absolutely. This principle of mindful awareness can be applied to so many everyday activities. Think about walking down the street, waiting in line, even doing chores. The intention is always the same, to bring your attention to your direct experience, whatever that may be in that moment. We're building the muscle of attention by practicing it in all sorts of environments, not just the quiet room.
It's about making mindfulness not a separate task, but a way of being.
A way of being. I love that. And remember, this isn't about achieving a state of perfect bliss or emptying your mind. It's about noticing when your mind wanders, which it will, that's what minds do, and gently, kindly, bringing your attention back to your chosen focus, whether that's the sensation of your feet on the ground, or the sound of the traffic, or the rhythm of your breath.
So, even if I get caught up in a stressful thought during my commute, I can just notice that thought, acknowledge it without getting carried away, and then return my attention to the present moment.
Exactly. You're not trying to push the thoughts away, but rather to change your relationship with them. They become just another weather system passing through your internal landscape. This is the essence of mindfulness on the move.
This makes so much sense. It feels empowering to know that I can use this time, which I often feel is wasted, to actually cultivate more calm and presence.
That's the goal. We're turning transit time into treat time for your mind. Next episode, we'll dive even deeper into harnessing the power of our breath with some simple, actionable techniques. Next episode, breathing room, tiny habits for a calmer breath. Welcome back. Last time, we explored bringing mindfulness to everyday activities. Now, let's tackle the body scan.
The body scan. That always sounded so involved, Alex. Like you need to lie down for ages. Finding that much time feels impossible for many busy people.
Exactly, Lisa. That's why we're calling this the body scan shortcut. The traditional body scan is systematic, but we can adapt its core, tuning into physical sensations for even the busiest schedules. It's about connecting consciously with your physical self.
So, we're not talking about an hour-long meditation?
Not at all. We're talking about a practice that can genuinely take just a few minutes. Think of it as a quick system check for your body. We often get so caught up in our thoughts that we disconnect from how our bodies are feeling. Tension builds up unnoticed.
That makes so much sense. I often realize I'm holding my shoulders up to my ears or clenching my jaw without noticing until a headache starts.
Precisely. A shortened body scan helps you catch those things. The goal is to gently bring your attention to different sensations in your body without judgment. You're just noticing. Are you feeling warmth, coolness, pressure, tightness, or ease?
So, it's like becoming a detective for your own physical experience.
That's a great analogy, Lisa. A mindful detective. Now, how do we make this a shortcut? Instead of detailing every muscle group, we can group areas together. You can do this sitting, standing, or even walking.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does this shortcut version work?
Let's try it. First, find a comfortable posture, whether sitting or standing. Allow your eyelids to become heavy if you close them. Take a gentle breath to settle in. Now, bring your awareness to your feet. Just notice where your feet make contact with the floor or your shoes. Are they warm? Cool. Just notice. Let your awareness travel up to your legs. Notice your calves, knees, and thighs. Again, observing any sensations. Pressure? Stillness? Just notice. Next, bring your attention to your torso, your abdomen, chest, and back. Notice your breath. Feel the support beneath you. Maybe you notice any tightness or openness in your chest. Now, let your awareness move to your arms, your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, hands, and fingers. Are your hands resting? Clenched? Notice any sensations from your shoulders to your fingertips. Finally, bring your awareness to your neck and head, your jaw, cheeks, eyes, forehead. Notice any tension in your jaw or brow. Gently invite those areas to soften without force. And now, take one more gentle breath, and when you're ready, gently come back to your surroundings.
Wow, that was surprisingly grounding. And it didn't feel like it took long at all. I definitely noticed some tightness in my shoulders I'd forgotten about.
Exactly. That's the shortcut in action. We cover the major areas: feet, legs, torso, arms, and head in just a few moments. The key is consistent, gentle attention. You're getting a general sense of what's going on physically. It's like a quick sweep of your body's landscape.
So, the principle is to move attention through the body, noticing sensations without judgment, in broader strokes for efficiency.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. We're grouping regions. You don't need to focus on individual muscles. Just bring awareness to your lower legs, for example. This makes it accessible. You can do this while waiting for a meeting, during your commute, or even during challenging moments to help steady yourself.
It's like recalibrating your internal system. When you notice tension, you can consciously invite your body to soften by bringing awareness to it.
Yes, and that invitation to soften is crucial. We're not forcing relaxation. We're gently noticing where we're holding on and allowing space. This is incredibly effective for releasing physical stress that accumulates. It anchors you in the present moment in your physical body. This is a powerful antidote to anxious thoughts. Remember when we talked about mindfulness being on the move? This is a prime example. You don't need a dedicated time slot. You can weave this into your day. A quick body scan can become a way to check in with yourself, to notice what's happening beneath the surface of your busy mind.
So, to recap for our listeners, the shortcut body scan involves first, finding a comfortable posture, second, bringing gentle, non judgmental awareness to different regions feet, legs, torso, arms, and head, and third, simply noticing sensations without needing to change them. The goal is to ground yourself and release physical tension.
Beautifully put. And the beauty of this is its flexibility. As you practice, you'll find what works best. Some days you might feel warmth in your hands, other days, just the pressure of your clothing. All of it is valid information from your body. By regularly checking in, even for just a minute or two, you start to build a stronger connection with your physical self. You become more aware of your body's signals, allowing you to respond to stress or discomfort more effectively. It's about creating little moments of awareness throughout your day, building a habit of checking in. This practice is a powerful tool for reducing stress and increasing your overall sense of well-being, all without requiring a massive time commitment. Next episode, we're going to continue exploring the power of your breath and uncover some simple, yet surprisingly effective, breathing techniques you can use anywhere to find instant calm. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored the body scan as a powerful way to connect with yourself. Today, we're focusing on something even more fundamental: breathing.
Breathing. It sounds so simple, right? But the idea of mindful breathing can sound intimidating or difficult.
Exactly. We want to address that. We're focusing on breathing room, simple, tiny habits for a calmer breath that fit into your day. Think of it as finding little pockets of peace just through your breath.
Breathing room. I like that. So, how do we create that space without overhauling our routine?
The key is making it a tiny habit, something so easy you can do it almost without thinking. Remember how we talked about starting small? This is a perfect example.
Right. We don't need a dedicated meditation cushion for this.
Not at all. Let's start with something incredibly simple: a transition breath. Think about all the little transitions in your day. Finishing one task, starting another.
Those moments are usually rushed, though. Okay, done. Now what?
Precisely. And in that split second, you can anchor yourself with a single, intentional breath. So, the habit is, after you finish one thing and before you begin the next, take one conscious breath. Inhale, exhale. That's it.
So, if I close a document on my computer before I open my email, I just take one breath?
Exactly. Or when you stand up from your chair, before you take that first step, one breath. It's like hitting a tiny reset button. This brings presence to your transitions, and it takes zero extra time. It's your transition breath.
Okay, that feels manageable. What else? Beyond just transitions.
Another simple one is anchoring to an everyday action. Think about something you do multiple times a day. For instance, turning a doorknob.
Turning a doorknob. Got it.
So the habit becomes, every time you reach for a doorknob, you take a breath. As your hand touches the knob, you inhale, and as you turn it to open the door, you exhale. Your breath becomes linked to this physical action.
That's brilliant. It's like creating little breath reminders throughout the day, woven into ordinary moments.
And we can do this with other common actions too. How about drinking water? Every time you pick up your water bottle or glass, take a conscious breath. Inhale as you lift it, exhale as you sip. It turns a purely physical act into a moment of mindfulness.
So, we've got the transition breath, the doorknob breath, the water drinking breath. These are all so small. I'm starting to see how they don't feel like a burden.
That's the beauty of tiny habits. We're not asking you to suddenly sit for 10 minutes focused on your breath. We're inserting these moments of awareness into what you're already doing. It's about making your breath your ally, not something you have to schedule.
I can see how these tiny habits, practiced consistently, would start to build up. It's like accumulating little moments of calm.
Precisely. And this isn't just about feeling relaxed in the moment. When you practice these conscious breaths, you're training your nervous system. You're signaling to your body that it's okay to slow down, to be present, even amidst a busy day.
So, it's not just about noticing your breath, it's about how that noticing actually changes your internal state.
Exactly. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do it. If your mind wanders, that's perfectly normal. Just gently bring your attention back to the breath as you perform the action. The goal is gentle awareness.
That's a reassuring point, Alex. Sometimes the pressure to do it right can be a barrier itself.
Absolutely. Now, let's revisit the idea of your breath as an anchor. When you feel a wave of stress or overwhelm coming on, what's the first thing you can do?
Go back to my breath.
Yes. And because you've been practicing these small, consistent breaths, accessing that anchor will feel much more natural. So, the habit is to consciously take 3 slow breaths when you notice yourself feeling stressed.
3 slow breaths. That's incredibly accessible.
It is. Inhale deeply, filling your belly and chest, and exhale slowly, letting go. Repeat that 3 times. You're giving yourself a distinct pause, a moment to interrupt the stress response and come back to the present. Think of it as creating 3 moments of breathing room when you need it most.
So, to recap our breathing room strategies for today, we have the transition breath, taking one mindful breath between activities. We have anchored breaths, linking conscious breathing to everyday actions like turning a doorknob or drinking water. And we have the 3 breath reset, a quick technique to pause and calm your nervous system when stress arises.
You've got it. These are not demanding practices. They're simple, consistent, and designed to make mindful breathing a natural, integrated part of your life. By practicing these tiny habits, you're building a stronger connection to your breath, and through that, to a greater sense of presence and calm.
It really does feel like you're building a personal toolkit one small practice at a time.
And that's the journey we're on. So, for this week, try to experiment with just one of these tiny breath habits. See how it feels. Notice when you naturally use a transition breath, or when you remember to breathe while turning a doorknob. Small steps, big impact.
Wonderful. So, Alex, after exploring connecting with our bodies through the body scan and now finding breathing room, what's next on our mindfulness journey?
In our next episode, we're going to tackle the chaos of the morning. We'll explore how to bring mindful moments into the mad dash that so many of us experience every day.
Mindful moments in the madness of the morning. That sounds like something a lot of us could benefit from.
We certainly think so. Join us next time as we explore that. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored the power of the body scan. Today, we're tackling the morning rush.
Oh, the mornings. It feels like a race from the moment the alarm goes off. Get up, get dressed, get fed, get out the door, all before we've even had a chance to fully wake up. It's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Exactly. And that's precisely why this episode is so important. We'll introduce simple, powerful mindfulness techniques that can weave moments of calm right into your morning routine. We're not adding more to your plate, but shifting your awareness to what you're already doing.
So, instead of just rushing through getting ready, we can actually be present while doing it? That sounds almost too simple.
That's the beauty of mindfulness. It's about practical, doable steps. Let's start with waking up. How do most of us wake up? We probably hit snooze, grab our phones, and immediately dive into emails or social media.
Guilty as charged. My brain needs a jolt of digital input to get going.
Consider this. What if, for just 1 minute, the moment your eyes open, you simply notice 5 things? Not to judge them, just to notice them. You might notice the feel of the pillow, the light filtering through curtains, the sound of a bird, the temperature of the air, or simply that you're waking up.
Okay, that's interesting. So, just a gentle observation. It's not about fixing anything.
Precisely. This is about a soft landing into your day. It's a practice of awareness, not a task. Think of it as a gentle anchor. Those 5 observations ground you before the demands of the day descend. This brings us to transforming routine actions into mindful practices. Getting dressed, for instance.
Right? I usually just pull on the first clean thing I find. It's purely functional.
And that's fine. But while you're doing it, could you, for a moment, notice the sensation of the fabric against your skin? The fabric of your shirt, the texture of your pants. You could notice the act of putting on your socks, the feel of them sliding over your feet. It sounds trivial, but it shifts your attention from mental chatter to the tangible experience of your body.
So instead of my mind racing ahead to my first meeting, I'm focusing on the actual physical sensation of my sweater.
Exactly. It's about bringing your awareness to the present moment, even in the most mundane activities. And this ripples into getting ready for your commute or your workday. Brushing your teeth can become a mindful moment. Notice the taste of the toothpaste, the sensation of the brush against your gums and teeth, the sound of the water.
It's like reprogramming the autopilot. Instead of mindlessly going through the motions, you're actively engaging your senses.
You've got it. Now, what about breakfast? For many, breakfast is a grab-and-go affair, often eaten while multitasking. Can we carve out even 2 minutes to eat mindfully?
I can barely manage 5 minutes most mornings.
And that's okay. 2 minutes is fantastic. The key is to put away distractions. No phone, no news, no emails. Just your food. Before you take a bite, look at your food. Notice the colors, the shapes. Then, as you take a bite, notice the texture, the temperature, the flavors. Chew slowly and pay attention to the sensation of swallowing.
So it's about savoring really, noticing the actual experience of eating.
Yes, savoring. It's about appreciating the nourishment you're receiving. This practice can not only make your breakfast more enjoyable, but can also improve digestion and help you recognize fullness cues. So, to recap the morning strategies, when you wake up, take 1 minute for 5 sensory observations to create a soft landing. While getting dressed or performing other morning routines, bring awareness to the physical sensations. And during breakfast, even if it's just for 2 minutes, eat mindfully, paying attention to the taste, texture, and temperature.
That's a wonderful recap. So, instead of seeing the morning as unavoidable stress, we can see it as an opportunity to practice bringing presence into our day, starting from the moment we open our eyes.
Precisely. It's about small, consistent efforts. This isn't about creating a serene, silent retreat. It's about finding moments of calm within the natural chaos of getting ready. These aren't separate activities to add. They are ways to be while you're doing your existing morning tasks.
And the amazing thing is, these small moments can actually make the rest of the rush feel more manageable because you've started your day with a sense of intentionality rather than just reacting.
That's the ripple effect we're aiming for. By starting your day with intention and presence, you're setting a different tone. Remember that feeling of being grounded from those first 5 observations? You can carry that with you. The mindful eating helps with digestion and appreciation. Mindfully getting ready helps you feel more connected to your body and surroundings, rather than lost in future worries.
It's like building a foundation of calm that can support you through the rest of the day. Even if things get hectic later, you've had this initial grounding.
That's a perfect analogy. It's about building your personal resilience, one mindful morning at a time. So, try incorporating just one of these suggestions this week. Maybe it's just those 5 mindful observations upon waking. See how it feels. The key with mindfulness is consistent practice, not perfection.
And it's definitely something that can be approached with a skeptical mindset, right? You can just try it and see for yourself if these little shifts make a difference without having to believe in some grand spiritual awakening.
Absolutely. It's an experiment for you to conduct. Observe the results. Does it feel any different? Does it make the rest of your morning feel any less frantic? The data is entirely within your own experience.
Fantastic. So, we've learned to start our day with a soft landing, bring awareness to routine tasks, and savor our breakfast. These are such tangible, usable strategies.
They are, and they set us up perfectly for our next episode, where we'll explore the art of mindful listening, how to truly be present when others are speaking, which is another crucial skill for navigating our busy, noisy world.
Mindful listening. I can already tell that's going to be incredibly valuable.
It truly is. So join us next time as we tune in to the conversations around us. Until then, try to bring a little mindful intention to your own mornings. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored those quiet, breathing moments, the building blocks of a calmer day. Today, we're diving into something that can feel just as challenging as quieting your own mind, truly listening to others.
And it's not just for extroverts, right? I mean, we're all faced with conversations every single day, whether it's at work, at home, or just grabbing coffee. And I know for me, sometimes my mind is already racing ahead to what I need to say next, or I'm distracted by what's happening around me.
Exactly, Lisa. In our incredibly noisy world, with constant notifications and a million things vying for our attention, genuine listening has become a bit of an art form. And that's what we're calling today's episode, The Art of Mindful Listening. It's about being fully present, not just when you're sitting on a cushion, but in every interaction.
So, mindful listening, what does that actually mean? Is it just about not interrupting?
That's a piece of it, for sure. But it's much deeper. Mindful listening is about giving your undivided attention to the speaker with the intention of understanding them. It means putting aside your own thoughts, your judgments, and your agenda, at least temporarily, to truly hear what the other person is saying.
Okay, that sounds surprisingly difficult. My agenda, my thoughts, they're kind of always there. How do you step away from that, even for a moment?
It starts with intention. Before you even begin a conversation, or as it's starting, you can make a conscious choice. You can set an intention to listen with curiosity and openness. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. If your dial is fuzzy or tuned to another channel, you're not going to get clear signal. Mindful listening is about tuning your dial completely to the speaker.
So, it's about clearing the airwaves in our own minds, so to speak. What are some practical ways to do that when someone is talking to us?
One of the most powerful tools is to focus on their words, their tone of voice, their body language. Try to notice what they're saying without immediately formulating your response. Instead of thinking, what will I say when they're done? Try thinking, what are they really trying to convey? This is very similar to the present moment awareness we discussed earlier, but applied outward.
That makes sense. It's like shifting your focus from your internal monologue to their external message. I can see how that would reduce misunderstandings. We often hear what we expect to hear, or what we want to hear, rather than what's actually being said.
Precisely. And it's not just about the words. Notice the emotions behind the words. Are they excited? Frustrated? Sad? When you can acknowledge those emotions, even if you don't agree with the situation, it validates the speaker and helps them feel truly heard. This creates a much deeper connection.
So, it's like being a detective for their feelings as well as their facts.
A very empathetic detective. And another key element is asking clarify questions, not to challenge them, but to ensure you understand. Phrases like, so, if I understand correctly, you're saying, or could you tell me more about that, can be incredibly helpful. It shows you're engaged and invested in understanding.
That's good advice. I think sometimes we're afraid to ask clarifying questions because we think it makes us look like we weren't paying attention. But it's the opposite, isn't it?
Exactly. Asking thoughtful questions shows you are paying attention and that you value their perspective enough to get it right. It's about moving from a passive reception of words to an active, engaged process of understanding.
This is all about listening to others. But you mentioned earlier, listening to yourself as well. How does mindful listening apply inwardly?
That's the other crucial part of this art. We're often so busy in our heads, planning, worrying, or replaying situations that we don't truly listen to our own internal signals. Remember when we talked about tiny habits for a calmer breath? That involved noticing your breath. Mindful listening to yourself is about noticing those subtle internal cues.
Like what kind of cues?
It could be the first hint of stress in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, or a persistent thought that keeps looping. When you're constantly on and bombarded by external demands, it's easy to ignore these signals that tell you need a break, that something isn't right, or that you're heading down a path that isn't serving you.
So it's like our bodies and minds are trying to tell us something, but we're too busy listening to the external noise to hear them.
Precisely. Mindful listening to yourself means pausing, even for a few seconds, and asking, how am I feeling right now? What do I need? It's about cultivating that inner awareness. It's a form of self-compassion, really. You're giving yourself the same gift of attention that you would give to a friend.
This feels like it connects back to the body scan. That was a way to check in with our physical sensations. Is this similar?
It absolutely is. The body scan is a structured way to practice listening to your body. Mindful listening to yourself is like that, but you can do it in spontaneous moments throughout your day. It's about developing that ongoing inner dialogue. Imagine you're feeling overwhelmed. Instead of just pushing through, you pause and ask yourself, what's causing this overwhelm? What's one small thing I can do to feel a little better right now?
So, mindful listening is a two-way street, outward to others and inward to ourselves. And both are about giving our full attention with curiosity and a desire for understanding.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about cultivating presence. When you listen mindfully to others, you foster deeper connections, reduce conflict, and truly understand their perspective. When you listen mindfully to yourself, you gain crucial insights into your own needs, well-being, and direction.
And it's not about being perfect, right? It's about making the effort, about practicing.
Exactly. It's a practice. There will be times when your mind wanders or you get caught up in your own thoughts. That's okay. The mindful approach is to notice that without judgment and gently bring your attention back to the speaker or back to yourself. The key is that consistent, gentle redirection. It's a skill that, with practice, becomes more natural and deeply rewarding.
So, to recap, mindful listening means giving your full attention to another person with the goal of understanding their words, tone, and emotions, and asking clarifying questions. It also means turning that attention inward, noticing your own physical and emotional signals, and asking yourself what you may need. By practicing both, we can build stronger relationships and a deeper connection with ourselves.
That's it for today's episode on mindful listening. It's a powerful tool for navigating our busy lives with more connection and clarity. Next episode, we'll be exploring how to savor the small things with mindful eating. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored the power of mindful listening. Today, we're diving into another daily ritual, eating. We're talking about mindful eating and how to savor those small bites.
Mindful eating.
For someone who's often rushing through meals, this feels like a big shift. I sometimes picture someone sitting in silence for an hour with a single pea.
I get that, Lisa, but that's exactly what we want to dispel. Mindful eating isn't about restriction or taking hours. It's about bringing awareness and appreciation to the act of eating, no matter how much time you have. Think of it as a way to nourish yourself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too.
Nourish mentally and emotionally through food? That's an interesting angle. How does that work?
Well, our modern lives often have us eating on autopilot. We're scrolling through our phones, watching TV, or thinking about our next task. The food just passes through us, and we might not even fully register what we've eaten or if we've truly enjoyed it. Mindful eating encourages us to be present. It's about noticing the experience of eating.
So it's about slowing down and actually paying attention to the food?
Exactly. And it starts even before you take a bite. Have you ever just looked at your food and noticed the colors, the textures, the way it's arranged on your plate?
Sometimes if it's a particularly beautiful meal, but usually it's just food.
And that's perfectly normal. So, for mindful eating, we start with intention. Before you pick up your fork, take a moment. What do you see? What aromas are rising? Is there anything about its appearance that's appealing or interesting? This is simply about engaging your sense of sight and smell.
Okay, so before I even taste it, I'm observing. What's next? The first bite, I assume?
Yes, the first bite is crucial. When you take that first bite, try to notice the temperature. Is it hot, warm, cool, or cold? Then, as you chew, pay attention to the textures. Is it crunchy, soft, chewy, smooth, or perhaps a combination?
Texture is something I rarely notice. I just know if it's mushy or not.
And that's the beauty of it. We're uncovering these subtle sensory details. As you continue chewing, focus on the flavors. What specific taste can you identify? Is it sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or umami? Many foods have a complex blend of flavors. Can you discern them as they develop in your mouth?
This sounds like a flavor investigation. It's making me think about how I usually eat. I tend to chew just enough to swallow.
That's a common habit. So with mindful eating, we encourage a few more chews, each one a chance to explore. Imagine you're a food critic, but for yourself. What are you discovering with each chew? And as you swallow, notice the sensation of the food moving down.
So, to recap, we're starting by looking and smelling, then engaging with the first bite by noticing temperature, texture, and then, while chewing, exploring the flavors. And finally, noticing the swallow. That seems like a lot for a single bite.
It can feel like a lot at first, but remember, we're not aiming for perfection, especially in the beginning. We're just nudging your awareness. You can practice this with just one bite of your meal, or even just with a bite of fruit or a single piece of chocolate. It's about making small, intentional shifts.
That makes it feel much more approachable. So, beyond the sensations, what else are we looking for?
We're also paying attention to our body signals. Our bodies are remarkably wise. Do you notice signs of fullness? Or are you still feeling hungry? Mindful eating helps us tune into our hunger and satiety cues, rather than eating out of habit or until the plate is clean.
That's a really important point. I often find myself finishing food even when I'm not particularly hungry anymore, just because it's there.
This practice helps you recognize those subtle signals of enough. It's about eating until you feel comfortably satisfied, not stuffed. This can have wonderful benefits for digestion and your overall relationship with food.
So, it's a way to build a healthier relationship with both our food and our bodies. What about emotional eating? Is this helpful for that?
Absolutely. When we eat mindfully, we start to notice why we're reaching for food. Are we truly hungry? Or are we seeking comfort, distraction, or trying to fill an emotional void? By being present, we create a pause to ask ourselves, what do I really need right now? Sometimes it might be food, but other times it might be a walk, a chat with a friend, or a moment of quiet.
That pause is key, isn't it? It's that space between the impulse and the action.
Precisely. And it's a practice that can be integrated into any meal, even the quickest ones. You don't need a special meal or a quiet retreat. Even when you're grabbing a sandwich at your desk, you can pause before you eat. Notice three things about the sandwich: its smell, a texture, a flavor, and then eat it with a bit more awareness.
So, even a mindless grab and go meal can become a mindful moment. That's empowering.
It really is. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to notice flavors you never did before, and you'll find a greater sense of satisfaction from your food. It's about savoring, appreciating, and truly nourishing yourself, bite by bite.
So, to quickly recap for everyone listening, mindful eating is about bringing awareness to the experience of eating. We start by engaging our senses: sight, smell, temperature, texture, and taste. We aim to chew more deliberately to explore flavors fully and pay attention to our body's signals of hunger and fullness. When we create this space, we can also better understand our motivations for eating. And this can be practiced with any meal, even a quick one.
You got it, Lisa. It's about transforming everyday eating into an opportunity for presence and appreciation.
That's a wonderful way to reframe it. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome. Next episode, Navigating Digital Distractions, Mindful Tech Use. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored how to savor our meals with mindful eating. Today, we're diving into a topic that likely affects all of us, navigating digital distractions.
Oh, Alex, this is so relevant. It feels like our phones, tablets, and computers are constantly vying for our attention. My own experience tells me it's a huge source of distraction.
It absolutely is, Lisa. The constant buzz of notifications, the endless scroll, the lure of just one more video, it all pulls us away from what we're doing and who we're with. But mindfulness offers some powerful tools to help us manage this modern challenge. Remember in episode 2, we talked about anchoring yourself in the present moment? That principle is incredibly useful here.
Right? Anchoring. And we've touched on focus in other episodes too. So, how do we apply that to our digital lives, which often feel so out of control?
Great question. The first step, just like with any mindfulness practice, is awareness. We need to become aware of how we're actually using our devices. Are we mindlessly scrolling or are we intentionally engaging?
Awareness is key. I think for many of us, the mindless scrolling happens almost automatically. It's like a default setting.
Exactly. So, let's try a simple exercise for awareness. For the next day, set a soft intention to simply notice when you pick up your phone or open an app. Don't judge it, just notice. What prompted you to reach for it? What were you hoping to find or achieve? This simple act of observation can be incredibly revealing.
That sounds manageable. Just noticing. So, after we become aware, what's the next step in reclaiming our focus from technology?
The next step is about intentionality. It's about making conscious choices about our technology use. One effective strategy is to create tech-free zones or tech-free times.
Tech-free zones. So, like no phones at the dinner table?
Precisely. The dinner table is a perfect example. It's a time for connection, for conversation. When phones are present, that connection can be fractured. Other tech-free zones could be the bedroom, especially an hour before sleep, or even specific rooms in the house during dedicated family time.
That makes sense. And it's not about ditching technology altogether, but about creating boundaries.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming your time and attention. Another powerful technique is to batch our digital tasks. Instead of checking emails or social media every few minutes, designate specific times to do so. For example, check emails twice a day or social media for 10 minutes each in the morning and afternoon.
Batching. So, if I get a notification, I'll resist the urge to check it immediately and instead wait for my designated email or social media time.
You've got it. This helps train your brain to resist the instant gratification pull of notifications. Over time, you'll find yourself less reactive to those little alerts. Remember how we talked about the breath being an anchor? Your breath can be an anchor in the digital storm too.
Oh, I like that metaphor. The breath as an anchor in the digital storm. So, when I feel that urge to check my phone, I can take a few mindful breaths first.
Yes, before you even pick up the device, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This simple act creates a pause, a moment of space between the impulse and the action. This pause is where your intentional choice can happen.
That's brilliant. It's such a small action, but I can see how it would interrupt that automatic response. It's like building a tiny, mindful detour before the usual digital highway.
You're absolutely right. It's about building those tiny habits. Another practical tip is to curate your digital environment. Turn off non-essential notifications. Do you really need to be alerted every time someone likes your post? Probably not.
Definitely not. I think my phone is probably buzzing with things I don't even need to know about in real time.
Most likely. And consider what's on your home screen. Are your most distracting apps front and center? Try moving them into folders or onto a secondary screen, making them less accessible. This little bit of friction can make a big difference.
That's a great practical tip. It's almost like making it a little harder to fall into those digital traps. So, to recap, we start with awareness, becoming aware of our habits. Then, we practice intentionality, creating tech-free zones and times. We use our breath as an anchor to create a pause before acting, and we curate our digital environment by turning off notifications and organizing our apps.
Perfect summary, Lisa. It's about moving from being a passive recipient of digital input to an active, intentional user. Think of it like this. Your attention is a precious resource. Where are you choosing to invest it? Are you letting it be drained by constant digital interruptions, or are you directing it towards what truly matters? Your work, your relationships, your own well-being?
That's a powerful way to frame it. It's about taking back control. And these techniques aren't about deprivation, but about making room for more intentional living.
Exactly. By managing our digital distractions mindfully, we can improve our focus, increase our productivity, and, most importantly, be more present in our real lives. Imagine the quality of conversations you'll have, the depth of focus you'll achieve on tasks, and the peace you'll feel by simply being present, not constantly pulled away by a buzzing screen.
It sounds incredibly appealing. Less fragmented attention, more genuine connection and focus. I'm excited to try these strategies.
Fantastic. So, to recap what we've covered today, we explored the challenge of digital distractions and introduced mindfulness strategies to navigate them. We emphasized awareness of our digital habits, the power of intentionality through tech-free zones and times, using our breath as an anchor to create pauses, and curating our digital environment by turning off notifications and organizing our apps. These steps help us move from passive consumption to active, mindful engagement with technology. Next episode, we'll explore the wonderful world of mindful parenting, finding calm amidst the chaos of raising children. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Last time, we explored navigating the digital world with presence. Today, mindful parenting. Parenting is a whirlwind, isn't it, Lisa?
It really is, Alex. Staying present can seem impossible. I'm excited to hear how mindfulness can help in the chaos.
Absolutely. The core idea isn't adding more to your plate with elaborate routines. It's finding small pockets of awareness, in the moment strategies that make a difference. We're finding calm within the chaos, not after it.
So, no extra meditation before the kids wake up? That's a relief.
Exactly. Think of mindfulness as a toolbox. We've explored broader tools. For parenting, we're using the incredibly versatile, pocket-sized tools that fit right into your day. The first is simply being present during playtime,
Playtime.
That's often high energy, and my mind can wander to the to-do list.
right? But when we intentionally bring our full attention to playing, something magical happens. You're not just going through motions, you're connecting. Notice toy textures, laughter sounds, how their eyes light up. Dedicate your full awareness to that interaction. It deepens the bond. It's saying, you have my undivided attention right now.
That makes sense. It shifts focus from physically being there to truly being there with them. What about meal times? Those can be demanding too.
Mealtimes are another fantastic opportunity. Instead of rushing, try a mindful bite. Encourage everyone to really taste the food. Notice colors, textures, flavors. Make it a game. What flavors do you taste in this carrot? Slowing down and savoring fosters a healthier relationship with food and creates a more peaceful, connected experience. It's about savoring small bites and turning routine into connection.
I like that. Tying it back to mindful eating, but with an added layer of connection. But what about challenging moments? The tantrums, the meltdowns, when you feel overwhelmed.
Those are the true tests. Breath awareness is crucial here. When a child is upset, our instinct can be to get emotional or shut down. Mindful parenting in these moments means creating a pause, even a tiny one for yourself. Before reacting, take one deep, conscious breath. Feel your feet on the ground. This anchors you. It reminds you that you are the adult, and you can choose your response.
A single conscious breath. It sounds small, but that pause could be transformative. It's about managing your own internal state before managing the situation.
Precisely. As you breathe, offer compassion to yourself for feeling overwhelmed and to your child for their distress. A child acting out is often overwhelmed themselves, responding with a calm presence. Even if you can't fix it immediately, de-escalates far more effectively than an emotional reaction. It's about being a calm anchor in their storm.
So, the key strategies are being fully present during playtime, savoring meal times, and using a conscious breath to anchor ourselves during difficulties. This feels accessible.
It is. Mindful communication is also powerful. This means really listening when your child speaks, not just waiting your turn. Put down your phone, make eye contact, and try to understand their perspective. Ask clarifying questions like, "So, you're feeling frustrated because?" This active listening validates their feelings and strengthens your connection.
Active listening is so important. It's easy to just try to fix their problems instead of just hearing them.
Exactly. And when we communicate mindfully, we model that behavior. They learn to express themselves clearly and listen to others. It's a feedback loop. Remember our discussion on mindful listening in episode 6? This is applying that skill within the family dynamic.
That's a great callback. It shows how these techniques build on each other. So, to recap, mindful parenting integrates moments of presence into the everyday hustle. It's about being engaged during playtime, savoring meal times, using conscious breathing for calm during difficulties, and practicing active, empathetic listening.
You've got it, Lisa. The ripple effect is profound. When parents are more present and calm, children feel more secure and connected. This can lead to fewer behavioral issues, improved communication, and a stronger family bond. It's not about being a perfect parent. It's about being a present parent.
It's about finding moments of calm in the beautiful, albeit chaotic, journey of raising children. Thank you, Alex. This has been practical and inspiring.
My pleasure. And for our listeners, remember, even a minute of mindful presence can shift interaction energy. You don't need hours, you just need intention. Next episode, the Mindful Minute, extreme shortcuts to calm. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Today we're sharing extreme shortcuts to calm.
That's right, Alex. We're focusing on the absolute shortest interventions. Think seconds, not minutes. These micro practices fit into the tiniest gaps of your day to reset your focus and calm your nervous system.
Exactly. Remember in episode 3, we touched upon the body scan shortcut? Today we're shrinking that concept even further. We're looking for moments where you can snatch a breath, a thought, a sensation, and use it as an anchor.
So, we're not talking about long meditation sessions. It's about finding slivers of opportunity throughout the day. What are some of these mindful minutes?
One of the most accessible is what I call the three breaths reset. It sounds simple, but its power lies in its consistency and accessibility. When you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or scattered, stop for a moment and consciously take 3 deep breaths.
3 breaths. That can be done anywhere, anytime.
Precisely. As you inhale, focus on the air filling your lungs. As you exhale, feel tension leaving your body. Just notice the breath. Inhale, exhale. Second breath. Inhale, exhale. Third breath. Inhale, exhale. That's it.
And what's happening here? We're bringing our attention to the present moment, using the physical sensation of breathing as our anchor.
You've got it. You're momentarily disengaging from the mental chatter and anchoring yourself in the physical reality of your breath. It's like a mini detour from the whirlwind. It interrupts the automatic stress response.
So, what else can we do in roughly 60 seconds or less?
Another powerful one is the sensory anchor. This involves intentionally tuning into one of your senses for a brief period. For example, focus on what you can hear. For about 30 seconds, simply notice all the sounds around you without judgment.
Oh, I like this. By actively listening, you're pulling yourself out of your head.
Exactly. You might hear the hum of a computer, distant traffic, or birds chirping. The goal isn't to identify the sounds, but just to be aware of their presence. You could do the same with touch. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground or the texture of an object you're holding.
This helps to ground us in our physical experience of the world, pulling us away from worries or regrets. It brings us squarely into the now.
And speaking of grounding, another quick practice is the mindful pause. This is useful when you're transitioning between tasks or heading into a potentially challenging situation. Before you start the next thing, just hit pause. Take your 3 breaths or tune into a sensory anchor. It's a moment to mentally reset.
So, it's about creating small, intentional interruptions in the flow of our day. What about physical sensations?
Absolutely. It's the body scan snapshot. Pick one part of your body, maybe your shoulders. Are they tense? Just notice. Then, intentionally try to release that tension. Or focus on your hands. What do they feel like right now? Just observe.
This is so practical. We often carry tension without realizing it, and a quick check in like this can make a huge difference. It's like a mini maintenance check for your body and mind.
It really is. And another incredibly effective, though perhaps slightly more obvious, mindful minute is simply observing your surroundings with fresh eyes. Pick an object near you, a plant, a pen, and just look at it. Notice its color, its shape, its texture, any subtle details.
This encourages a sense of curiosity and wonder, even in the mundane. It's about seeing things as if for the first time.
Precisely. So, to recap these extreme shortcuts, we have the 3 breaths reset, the sensory anchor, the mindful pause for transitions, the body scan snapshot for quick physical checks, and simply observing your surroundings with curiosity.
These are all simple actions, Alex, but the power is in making them habitual. When do you recommend people try to incorporate these?
Anytime you feel stress rising, or when you notice your mind racing, waiting in line, during a commute, before sending an email, during a quick break between tasks. The key is to look for these micro opportunities. Don't wait for the perfect moment.
So, it's about weaving mindfulness into the fabric of our existing lives, rather than trying to carve out separate, large blocks of time. It's about making mindfulness accessible, even when you feel like you have no time at all.
Exactly. These are your in-between moments. They are pockets of calm you can create anywhere, anytime. The more you practice these, the more they become second nature, and the more resilient you'll become to the everyday stresses of life.
It's like building a muscle. With consistent, even brief practice, we build strength and capacity.
Well said, Lisa. These aren't magic cures, but they are incredibly effective tools for managing our state in the moment. They help us to be less reactive and more responsive.
So, for anyone who's been feeling overwhelmed by the idea of starting mindfulness because they think they don't have enough time, this episode is for you. These mindful minutes are your entry point.
And remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's practice. Even just one mindful breath when you feel overwhelmed can make a difference. Build on that.
Building on that is key. We've covered a lot of ground in this series, from the basics of mindfulness to these incredible micro practices. It's all about finding what works for you and making it a sustainable part of your life.
Next episode, we'll be looking at how to handle difficult emotions, even if you're still a skeptic at heart. We'll explore practical approaches to navigate those challenging feelings. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we covered extreme shortcuts to calm. Now let's tackle difficult emotions.
And I'm Lisa. In previous episodes, we've explored mindfulness through breathing, eating, and even managing our phones. Today, we're tackling something that can feel a lot less straightforward: difficult emotions.
Exactly, Lisa. For a lot of people, the idea of mindfulness is about finding peace and quiet. But life isn't always peaceful, is it? We all experience frustration, sadness, anger, or anxiety. And if we're being honest, we might think, how can mindfulness help me when I'm truly upset?
That's a great question, Alex. It feels counterintuitive, right? When something difficult happens, our instinct is often to push the feeling away, fight it, or get swept up in it.
Precisely. And that's where a lot of suffering comes from. We create a secondary problem by fighting the primary one. We're not just upset, we're upset about being upset. So, our approach for skeptics is this. Mindfulness isn't about eliminating difficult emotions. It's about changing our relationship with them. It's about learning to be present with them without letting them control us.
So, it's not about forcing ourselves to feel happy when we're sad, but about learning to be with the sadness in a different way.
You've got it. Think of it like this. Imagine a storm. You can try to stop the rain, or you can learn to put on a raincoat and walk through it, still reaching your destination. Mindfulness is like the raincoat. It doesn't stop the storm, but it helps you get through it.
I like that analogy. So, how do we put on this emotional raincoat?
We start with acknowledgement. The first step is simply recognizing, okay, I'm feeling emotion. You don't have to judge it, analyze it, or try to fix it immediately. Just notice it. This is a form of mindfulness in itself, bringing awareness to our internal experience.
So, instead of saying, "This is terrible, I can't stand this," it's more like, there's a feeling of irritation here.
Exactly. And the key is to approach this with curiosity. What does this feeling actually feel like in my body? Sometimes, difficult emotions aren't just abstract concepts. They manifest physically. Remember the body scan? That's incredibly useful here.
Yes.
The body scan. We learn to systematically bring our awareness to different parts of the body, just noticing sensations without judgment. I found that even when I was feeling a bit anxious, focusing on my feet or my hands could create a sense of grounding.
That's the magic. When you notice an unpleasant emotion, try to locate where you feel it in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? A warmth in your face? Instead of just getting lost in the story of the emotion, you're observing the actual physical sensations.
So if I'm feeling angry, I might notice a heat in my chest and tension in my jaw.
Precisely. Now, here's the skeptical-friendly part. You don't have to like these sensations. You don't have to think, oh, this is wonderful. I love feeling this. The goal is simply to observe them with a sense of detachment, like a scientist observing an experiment. You're gathering data. What are the qualities of this sensation? Is it sharp, dull, pulsing, staring?
That sounds much more manageable than trying to stop feeling angry. It shifts the focus from controlling the emotion to observing it.
right? And this observation itself creates a little bit of space. When you're intensely caught up in an emotion, there's no space. It's all-consuming. By stepping back and observing the physical sensations, you create that little bit of breathing room. It breaks the cycle.
And in that space, we can then choose our response rather than just reacting automatically.
That's the ultimate goal. We can choose to respond with more wisdom, more compassion, or simply with a bit more clarity rather than being driven by the raw emotion. So the practice looks something like this. First, acknowledge the emotion. I'm feeling frustration. Second, gently bring your attention to where you feel it in your body, using that body scan awareness we practiced. Third, observe the physical sensations with curiosity. What are their qualities? Are they changing? Fourth, remember that emotions are temporary. They arise, they are present, and they pass. Like clouds moving across the sky.
It's a very pragmatic approach. It doesn't ask us to believe in some mystical outcome, just to observe what's happening.
Exactly. And it's something you can practice in small doses. You don't need to sit for an hour. If you feel a pang of irritation waiting in line or a wave of worry before a meeting, you could take a few moments to just notice. Where do I feel this? What are the sensations like?
It's like developing an inner detective for our emotions, noticing the clues without needing to immediately solve the crime.
That's a great way to put it. And as you practice this, you'll start to notice that you become less afraid of your own feelings. They lose some of their power when you can look at them directly without recoiling.
So, to recap for our listeners, when difficult emotions arise, instead of fighting them, we can acknowledge them. Then, we use our body scan awareness to notice the physical sensations associated with that emotion. We observe these sensations with curiosity, like a scientist, and remember that all emotions are temporary. This practice creates a little space, allowing us to respond more thoughtfully.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming more resilient and more in control of your own experience, even when life throws you a curveball. It's about engaging with your experience rather than being a passive victim of it.
Thank you, Alex. That's incredibly practical advice for anyone, especially those of us who appreciate a grounded, skeptical approach.
Next episode, building your personal mindfulness toolkit.
So, join us next time for episode 12, Building Your Personal Mindfulness Toolkit.
Welcome back. Last time we explored handling difficult emotions. Now let's build your personal mindfulness toolkit.
That sounds fantastic, Alex. We've covered so much ground in this series, from basics to techniques for busy lives.
Absolutely, Lisa. Mindfulness isn't one size fits all. What works wonders for one person might not for another. This episode helps listeners identify what truly resonates and assemble their personalized set of tools for staying mindful.
So, instead of just listing techniques, we're guiding them to discover their own favorites?
Exactly. Think of building a toolbox. You choose the hammers most useful for the jobs you do. Our listeners have been introduced to various practices like breathing, body scans, mindful walking, and listening. Now it's time to reflect. What moments stood out? What techniques felt most natural or impactful? Maybe it was taking 3 deep breaths when feeling overwhelmed, or a focused awareness of sensations during a short body scan.
And how do they begin this reflection? What's the first step in assessing their favorite tools?
The first step is recalling. Invite listeners to think back. Remember episode 4, Breathing Room? The focus on simple, conscious breathing. Does that practice feel like a go-to for you? Is it easy to access when you feel scattered?
Oh, yes.
Just noticing my breath, even for seconds, can be a mini reset. It's fundamental and always there.
Precisely. So, your breath is likely a cornerstone of your personal toolkit. Now consider episode 7, Mindful Eating. Did bringing full attention to meals change your experience? Did it help you slow down and appreciate things more?
I did. I used to rush lunch, but taking extra minutes to taste food, notice textures, it made a difference. It felt like self-care in a busy day.
That's a wonderful example of integrating mindfulness into a routine. So, mindful eating could be another valuable tool. And what about episode 8, navigating digital distractions? Did any strategies for managing screens and notifications resonate?
Setting specific times to check emails or social media, rather than being constantly available, was a game changer. It's about reclaiming my attention.
Reclaiming attention, a crucial skill. So, we're seeing a pattern, aren't we? Listeners can ask, when did I feel calm or clarity? When did a practice help me shift my perspective?
It's like creating a personal highlight reel of mindfulness moments.
Exactly. And from that reel, we curate our toolkit. Perhaps your toolkit includes 1. A quick breathing exercise for stress. 2. Mindful eating for one meal a day. 3. A strategy for managing digital distractions. 4. Maybe a brief body scan to reconnect with your physical self.
So, the toolkit isn't about a huge list, but a few reliable practices you've tested and found useful.
Precisely. And remember our episode on mindful moments in the madness of the morning. Episode 5. Were there any quick wake-up exercises that felt grounding? Even noticing the feeling of your feet on the floor.
That one I've definitely kept. It's a gentle way to start the day, rather than jumping into thoughts and worries.
So, for you, a grounding morning moment is part of the toolkit. We're building this by recalling experiences, identifying what felt good, helpful, and sustainable. It's not about perfection, but about finding what supports you.
And how do they organize this? Is it just a mental list, or is there a more concrete way?
A mental list is a great start. You can also jot them down. Imagine a small notebook or a note on your phone, listing your top 3 to 5 go-to mindfulness practices. These are your anchor points. When life feels overwhelming, these are the practices you can turn to, knowing they've already proven their worth. For instance, if you're prone to feeling anxious, you might highlight breathing exercises and the mindful minute from episode 10. If you struggle with focus, perhaps mindful listening from episode 6 and a short focus on object meditation might be your go-to tools.
This personalization is key. It makes mindfulness feel less like a chore and more like an empowering resource.
Absolutely. And your toolkit might evolve. What's most helpful today might shift as your life circumstances change. Building this toolkit is ongoing. It's about staying curious and continuing to explore what nourishes your sense of presence and well-being.
So, the takeaway is to experiment, reflect, and then intentionally collect the practices that work best for you.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. We've presented a range of techniques, and your task now is to become your own mindfulness curator. Look back at what resonated. What helped you find calm? What helped you connect with yourself and the present moment? Assemble those into your personal toolkit. Remember, the goal isn't to do everything, but to do what works for you consistently. This personalized approach makes mindfulness accessible and adaptable, truly fitting into the tapestry of your everyday life.
It's about having a reliable set of strategies ready at your fingertips to navigate whatever comes your way.
Exactly. You've learned so much, and now it's time to translate that knowledge into your own practical wisdom. Build your toolkit, practice regularly, and watch how these mindful moments can create significant ripple effects. Next episode, The Ripple Effect, Mindfulness Beyond You. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes. Today, we explore the powerful ripple effect of mindfulness.
That's right, Alex. It's like a rising tide lifting all boats. When we cultivate inner calm, our presence, and our ability to respond rather than react, it genuinely spreads outwards.
Exactly. Think about the techniques we've covered: the body scan, mindful breathing, mindful listening. When you arrive home after a stressful day, and instead of snapping, you take a breath and respond with kindness. That's the ripple effect.
If you're more patient and less reactive, your family feels that ease. They don't have to navigate around your stress. They can simply be themselves and perhaps even adopt some of that calm. It's a contagious positivity.
And this isn't just for close relationships. Imagine bringing this mindful presence into your workplace. When you're actively listening to a colleague, not just waiting to speak, and you respond thoughtfully, you build stronger trust and collaboration. You become a more effective team player.
I've noticed this in groups. When one person is calm, present, and listening well, it often de-escalates tension in a meeting. People feel heard, and that can dramatically change the dynamic. It makes communication smoother.
Absolutely. This extends to our communities. Whether you're volunteering, interacting with neighbors, or just out and about, a consistent practice of mindfulness cultivates connection and empathy. When we see others as fellow human beings, we interact with more compassion.
So, by becoming more mindful ourselves, we're contributing to a more peaceful and understanding environment. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. The ripples spread far and wide.
Precisely. This doesn't require grand gestures. It's often the small, consistent moments that have the biggest impact. That mindful pause before reacting to a challenging email, that brief moment of gratitude during your commute, that commitment to truly listen to your child. These are the building blocks of that ripple effect.
It's almost like the more we use these mindfulness tools, the more they become an ingrained part of who we are. And that changes how we show up in the world, for everyone.
And that's a profound shift. We started this series focusing on the skeptical individual looking for ways to manage stress. What we've discovered is that this journey inward inevitably leads to outward connection and a positive impact on the world around us.
It's a beautiful synergy. The more centered and present you become, the more you can contribute positively to your family, friendships, workplace, and community. It's not just about feeling better yourself, it's about doing better for others.
And this is why consistency, even with short mindful minutes, is so crucial. Those brief moments of intentional presence accumulate. They strengthen your capacity for calm, for empathy, and for thoughtful response. Over time, this becomes your default mode, and that's when the ripple effect truly gains momentum.
So, to recap, practicing mindfulness, even in small, consistent ways, creates a powerful ripple effect. It positively impacts your relationships, your interactions at work, and your connection to your community. By cultivating inner calm and presence, you naturally contribute to a more peaceful and understanding environment for everyone.
It's a beautiful, empowering realization. The journey of mindfulness is not a solitary one. It's one that enriches our lives and the lives of those we touch.
This has been such a fascinating exploration, Alex. It really highlights the broad benefits of this practice.
It truly does. And as we wrap up this episode and prepare for our final discussion in the series, I want you all to reflect on this ripple effect. Think about how your practice, however small, can touch the lives of others.
It's an inspiring thought to carry forward.
Indeed. Next time, we'll be discussing how to integrate mindfulness for life. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to Mindful in Minutes.
And this is our final episode, episode 14, where we're talking about integrating mindfulness into your life for good. Alex, we've covered so much ground, from the basics of mindfulness to practical techniques for navigating our chaotic digital world and even dealing with difficult emotions.
That's right, Lisa. We started with the absolute basics, getting comfortable with just being present, even if it felt a bit strange at first. Remember the skeptic's welcome? We acknowledged that feeling of, is this really going to work for me? And encouraged taking it one breath at a time.
I do. And then we moved into mindfulness on the move, showing how even a short walk could be a mindfulness practice. And who could forget the body skin shortcut? That was a game changer for me, learning to notice physical sensations without judgment. It's like a quick reset button for your body.
Exactly. And the power of the breath. We dedicated time to breathing room, showing how just a few mindful breaths can make a huge difference. Then we applied it to that busiest part of the day in mindful moments in the madness of the morning.
Mornings used to be a whirlwind for me. Now, taking just 30 seconds to focus on my breath before jumping out of bed has made them so much more manageable. And speaking of focus, the art of mindful listening really opened my ears, literally. It's amazing how much more I understand when I'm truly listening, not just waiting to speak.
Mindful listening is so critical, isn't it? And then we explored our relationship with food and mindful eating. It's not just about what we eat, but how we eat. Savoring each bite, truly tasting your food. It transforms a utilitarian act into a moment of pleasure and presence.
Oh, that was a delicious episode. And then we confronted one of the biggest challenges today: digital distractions. Navigating digital distractions gave us tangible ways to use our phones and computers more mindfully, rather than letting them use us.
A huge topic in today's world. And to bring that mindfulness into our closest relationships, we explored mindful parenting. It's about being present for our children, even in the most challenging moments.
That episode resonated deeply. And for those days when even a full session feels like too much, the Mindful Minute offered those extreme shortcuts. It's proof that you don't need a lot of time to find stillness. Just 60 seconds can be enough.
Absolutely. And then we tackled a really important area, handling difficult emotions. We learned that mindfulness isn't about escaping emotions, but about acknowledging them with kindness and curiosity, rather than letting them overwhelm us.
That was a revelation for me. Understanding that I don't have to fight difficult feelings, but just notice them. And building on that, building your personal mindfulness toolkit was so practical. It helped us gather all the different techniques we'd learned and create a go-to resource for ourselves.
And finally, we talked about how practicing mindfulness doesn't just benefit us, but it positively impacts everyone around us. It's a gift that keeps on giving, spreading calm and positive energy.
So, after all these episodes, the big question is, how do we keep this going? How do we make mindfulness a lasting part of our lives, not just something we did for a short while?
That's the core of integrating mindfulness for life. The first thing is to embrace imperfection. There will be days, weeks, maybe even months where the practice slips. Life happens. The key is not to get discouraged, but simply to return to it. Think of it like exercise. You wouldn't give up on going to the gym because you missed one workout, would you?
No, you just get back on the treadmill. So, if I miss a day of my mindful minute, I shouldn't feel like a failure?
Absolutely not. Acknowledge it without judgment and start again. It's the gentle return that matters. Also, continue to be flexible with your practice. You don't need to do the exact same thing every day. Some days, a 3-minute breathing exercise might be perfect. Other days, a mindful walk might be what you need. Your toolkit is there for a reason.
So, keeping it varied and forgiving myself when I slide is important. What else?
Intentionality. Make conscious choices to bring mindfulness into mundane moments. Rinsing the dishes? That's an opportunity to feel the water, smell the soap. Waiting in line? That's a chance to practice patience and observe your surroundings. We've explored many of these, but it's about extending that intentionality to every moment.
It's about making mindfulness less of a separate activity and more of a way of being.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of continued learning. This series is just the beginning. There are countless books, apps, and even local mindfulness groups that can support your journey. Think of connecting with others who are also practicing. Sharing experiences can be incredibly motivating.
That supportive community aspect is something we touched on with the idea of positive effects spreading outward. Because when we're more mindful, we tend to be more patient, more compassionate, and generally better to be around.
Exactly. And as you deepen your practice, you'll start to notice even more profound shifts. Your ability to manage stress will improve, your focus will sharpen, and you'll likely experience a greater sense of peace and well-being. It's a practice that rewards consistency.
So, to recap for our listeners, maintain intentionality, be forgiving of yourself when you slip up, keep your practice varied, and consider seeking out further resources and community support. It sounds like the goal is to weave mindfulness into the very fabric of our daily lives.
That's the ultimate aim, Lisa, to live more fully, more consciously, and with more peace, one mindful moment at a time. This podcast has been our journey together, exploring practical ways to do just that. We've covered the core principles, offered concrete techniques, and hopefully demystified mindfulness for even the most skeptical among you.
It's been an incredible series, Alex. From learning to just sit with ourselves to navigating the complexities of modern life with a little more calm. It's been about finding those moments of quiet within the noise.
And that's really what Mindful in Minutes is all about. It's not about achieving some perfect state of Zen, but about finding practical, accessible ways to bring more presence, more awareness, and more peace into your everyday life. This isn't the end of your practice, but rather the beginning of how you'll integrate it.
It's been a privilege to explore this with you and with our listeners.
Thanks for listening to the series.